Welcome back to the Daily Grind. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. It's the Daily Grind. We're back to the Daily Grind. Welcome back to the Daily Grind and happy Monday. I've got
What's up?
Uncle Buck. How are you, brother? How are you? It's Monday,
Nope.
so that means we are hanging out.
I think that was one of the better intro songs you've ever done. I think
It
you're getting better at
sounded
this.
good.
Yeah, you got
That
a
was
little rhythm here.
normally they sound like crap and they look like crap. You know, if you were to look at it, visualize it. That one I think was both. It sounded good. I'll take it.
Yeah, good
Um,
job.
better than the normal stuff where I just like scream, right?
Right.
Maybe. Anyway, how was your weekend, brother? Did you have a good weekend?
I had a really good weekend. It was
Oh yeah.
crazy.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna get to the craziest part of it later in the show, but
Yeah. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it for me.
yeah, I had a good weekend. Glad the week is back so we can get into some semblance of a routine because I am a creature of
Yeah.
habit, and so
Same.
get back into our normal sleeping patterns here.
Yeah.
Is a welcomed addition to the Mondays.
That's awesome. We actually have some Grizzlies news to touch on from the weekend too. I feel like after a week of just kind of kicking the can down the road with not much news to speak of, we had a little bit of news this weekend. The first, which is funny because on Friday, I think it was Friday's show, I spent most of the show, maybe all the show, talking about the Grizzlies trading Marcus Smart with Rusty. It might have been like the entire show. It was like the first thing we talked about. And then yesterday, or it might have been Saturday, I don't. As soon as that news dropped, the Grizzlies nipped it in the bud, man, because it came out that they are. Sources are saying they have no interest in parting with Marcus Smart at all. That same report also said that they are receiving strong interest from other teams about Luke Kennard, which I think we all assumed.
Yeah.
I was just a little surprised at how quickly the answer came out. You know, like normally they let this stuff gestate till the draft just to keep teams, you know, I guess confused. But I mean, as soon as that report came out, they were like, nah, we're nope, not to Houston. Nope, we're not. Nope. And I just thought that was interesting.
Me too, because, you know, I know that the Grizzlies have a pecking order and they've got a do not touch list, you know, do not even ask or we're hanging up the phone list. And that is Ja, Bane, Jaren, maybe or maybe not GG Jackson or Vince, you know. I would have never put Marcus on that list. Like, they're not going to hang up if you ask about Marcus Smart. Now, maybe just the deals aren't out there that are good enough for them to part with a valued asset. You know, it's totally possible that they just value Marcus Smart more than everybody else does. I understand that. We understand that as Grizzlies fans.
Yes.
Yeah. We always think our players, they're more special to us than the rest of the world. It's the reason why we have the chip on our shoulder, you know?
Exactly. I mean, the dude does bring 120 playoff games worth of experience. So it's like, I get that. But for me, it's like we're talking about the do not touch list. I would have had, if Marcus is on that list with, like, if Kleiman is including him with that list of players that he doesn't want to get rid of, to me, that means that Marcus is going to have to shift his role a little bit. In terms of, I don't know if he's going to start. I just don't know. To me, at his age and at his current production, I don't know if he needs to shift more into a 6-man role, like where he is that veteran presence that come in and leads that 6-man unit. I don't know. I just don't. I was so surprised that it was no interest at all. It just seemed really strange to me, especially with a team where you could trade potentially to draft him to that 3 spot for.
Right.
Seems like the Rockets are open for business with that spot. So it's like, I just, the quickness and the like firmness of which they said no struck me, because I get that seems like they have a very key role for him on this team next season.
Right. And I think it's very well possible that we keep saying, you guys have forgotten how good Ja Morant is. He only played 9 games. He's disrespected. He was injured. Yes, he has a bad reputation now, and he got injured, and y'all just forgot how good he is. It's very possible that we are just sitting back looking at Marcus Smart's contract as a very tradable asset, and got trade happy given our stance in the draft, and
Yes.
then we have all just forgotten how good Marcus Smart is. Like
Very good point. Very good point.
You said 120 games of playoff experience, multiple Eastern Conference Finals, a leader, a ball handler, a hustle guy who's just going to bust his tail. All the reasons why we love the Marcus Smart trade are the same pros now. Like, and it's a weak draft. So I mean, sure, I can buy Kleiman saying we're going to give up Marcus Smart to go up to 3 to get a project.
Klingon, yeah.
I mean, like, Klingon's the only one that it's just like, okay, I see a high floor there. Anybody else, are you really going to give up Marcus Smart for? I'm speaking for Kleiman here, not myself, but you know.
Well, and you got to think too. Like I was talking with Rusty last week. He's got all that playoff experience. As soon as they get rid of him, they go to the finals, or they win the championship.
Yeah.
But they were still. You don't get to how many conference finals in a row. A big reason that happened is because of Marcus Smart. You know, a big reason for that team's sustained success is Marcus Smart. And it's like you said, I'm glad you stopped me. Creatures of the moment, right? Like caught up in all these teams are making trades, so we have to make trades if we want to stay relevant, blah, 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 which I do think we need to make moves. But
I do too.
It's like you said, maybe we all are forgetting the power that Marcus Smart has on a basketball court. Is it diminished from the initial player that he was with Boston all those years ago? No question. But it's still a damn good player.
Sure.
You know, like a diminished Marcus Smart is still better than half the league.
Right. And to cut Marcus some slack about Boston just winning a title here, they did go get Porzingis and Drew Holiday in the same offseason. And I love Marcus Smart, but I would also get rid of him if I had the opportunity to get Drew Holiday. So
truth. Yeah, that's yeah, like that's a good point. Like look at what Boston got back. Like if you're able to get that back from Marcus Smart, of course you do it. Like that's all right. Touche.
Brad Stevens needs a statue, is what I'm saying.
Like, man, it would be great if they made a Brad Stevens statue because that's the most like generic looking white dude. It would just be like, oh, look at this generic white man on a statue, Brad Stevens. It would be great. I love that.
You would save all engineering costs at all. Just give me white man F, and that'll work. Yeah.
You could just make a statue of me and put it up there. I probably wouldn't tell the difference. Let's move on though. Enough about Marcus Smart. I think we're going to hear a lot more. Maybe not smart news, but based on the same report that had the Luke Kennard news, I wouldn't be surprised if we hear some Luke Kennard news leading up to the draft. I'm very excited for what all could be happening this week. You know, it's a fun week. It's an
3 days
week.
away.
3 days away, and it's 2 days for some reason. 2 day long event for some reason. Woo-woo.
Is that new?
Moving on. Yeah, that's new. This is the first year they're doing it.
Okay, I couldn't remember. I wish they would.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do it either. I know it's new because we did a live draft show last year and it lasted like 4 hours because we did the whole night and it was like you were there for. That's right. It was rough, but I feel bad. 2 days seems weird because there's some of these kids that are getting invited into the green room that aren't going to get their name called, and then they just gotta sit around and wait. Like that just seems
like NFL draft. Yeah, you gotta go get a hotel room, bud.
Yep, the NFL draft works because there's 7 rounds of that crap. Like you got time to hang out. You're just doing 2 rounds. These kids are going to look real foolish, and I'd be pissed if I got invited and then I had to wait. I'd be pissed.
Absolutely.
Moving on though, the other piece of Grizzlies news that we had this weekend was actually yesterday, less than 24 hours ago. I was chilling and saw this drop. We got some Ja Morant. Ja, where is he? My guy, my dudes, my buddy. He's my guy, my little Ja Morant. He sits on my desk every day right next to Garfield and reminds me how much better they are at basketball than me. But we got both of them, including the fat cat. Mm-hmm. We got some injury news. It was at his youth basketball camp, which there were approximately 650 kids that showed up Saturday, which is crazy.
I gotta stop you just for a second because I laughed so hard when I read this. The commercial appeal, it was DeMichael Cole.
Is that what you're reading?
And it was like teasing, like the article was talking about, the headline was like Ja Morant injury news and basketball camp. And the first line of it, or the first paragraph was like, Ja Morant saw 600 and something kids. And just to put that into perspective for all you people, Tyrese Halliburton had like 235. And I was like, what is Tyrese Halliburton getting strays in this? Like,
dude, the first sentence, I was thinking like that first paragraph, Tyrese just catches so many strays.
Like, what? I didn't realize this was a competition, but I mean, step your game up, Halliburton.
I loved it. It's like, oh, you remember all that talk about Hallie being better than Ja? Well, pop up. How do you like that?
The kids hate him.
Kids hate him. They hate him.
Right.
I'm so glad you read that too, because that cracked me up. I thought that was so funny. It was like, this seems unnecessary, but I'm glad it's in here. The same after it talks about the basketball camp, though, it goes on, which it sounds like I'm just happy to see Ja talking to reporters again and being positive. It just brings my heart joy to see that dude around a basketball court, around basketball. It just makes me happy. He gave us a injury update. He is going to be expected to be cleared to play in 2 weeks, which is soon. That's really soon. I don't know. I don't really know what I was expecting. I'm not a doctor. I've never even played one as an actor. I don't know. Surgery for me. I mean, when did he have that surgery? The surgery might have been earlier than it was in January, right? He had the surgery in January.
So I mean, he came back around Christmas time and he played 9 games. So
yeah, I don't want to think about that. So he's going to be back, cleared to play in 2 weeks. He's already talking about who the Grizzlies are going to draft. He's all like, seems already keyed in for next season already, which makes me so happy. Rusty says he's on target for a conservative return. Rusty will know more than both of us. He, I think, is a medical man. He's
like,
he's
like a physical therapist. I mean,
hey, you're a medical man. In my eyes, if you can take a blood pressure, you're a medical man. So conservative return coming back in 2 weeks. That makes it, he is going to be, I would imagine he is going to be all systems go for training camp, for get this kid. It seems like he's already excited about who we're going to draft, get whoever they draft, get him in the gym, get them working. It just seems like he is ready to go. Like I want to look at, what's the exact quote? He says, I hate being around basketball and not being able to play. I don't got too much longer. I can't wait to make sure I'm able to be played and be cleared when the season. Where'd it go? When the season. Oh, I lost the quote. Now I just sound like an idiot. When the season comes. There's only a few words it could have been. He is already geared toward next season. And as a Grizzlies fan who had to sit through all offseason, or had to sit through the whole season, like seeing guys like Halliburton, seeing all these people. I looked at the Ringer's top 100 players over the weekend. He's ranked the 30th best player in the league. 30.
Yeah, it's garbage.
That is bull. That's insane. That is actually, and I like most of the content they put out, and I normally can get behind a lot of the stuff that they say. But man, Uncle Buck, you were just getting, your hair is getting, I'm not even going to, I'm not giving it the time of day. They 30 is insane. That means that there are 20, they think there are 29 players in the league better than Ja Morant. 29. I think it would be fun. We got a few minutes. I was going to say, let's list the 29 best black cat. I can't, because I can't even, it's just an asinine. Like, if you're basing that, and some of the players that were ahead of him, it was like, guys. Speaking of children of the moment, just because. Go ahead.
That's why Halliburton was listed in that article.
Yep. Yes.
Because he was listed ahead of him.
Yes. You were exactly right, because it's crap like that. And shout out to Michael, because it's, if anyone's going to stand up for Ja, it's got to be us, because
Yeah,
Ja with one
it's
arm, I
always
would
that
rank
way.
higher than 30.
Right.
I just
Right.
don't get it. Like yeah, guys took leaps. Like, yeah, SGA took a leap. Yes, and Edwards took a leap. Ja Morant was literally top 10 Sports Center play every single night. Like the dude's a walking highlight reel. The dude is one of the most dynamic basketball players that we have seen in forever. I was going back and just looking up old scouting reports. When the 2019 draft was coming out and we were talking about Zion and Ja, you would have thought we were talking about the second coming of Bird and Magic, man. The two of those guys.
Right.
Like, I am so excited to see this dude playing basketball again and for us to remember how damn good he is. Let him know, man. And I hope he's keeping receipts.
Daniel Greer in the chat did say that as a Grizzlies fan, you want him ranked as low as possible. And I do subscribe to that, especially because of the mindset that Ja has, where he is one of those that's going to prove the haters wrong. You know, that's what he's always looking for, that and next bullet that shot his way, you know? And so,
Daniel Greer was one of them.
Yeah. I hope that that's why I did it.
That's why I did it.
And so I think that it's a good thing. Maybe they'll come out with another list before the season starts and they'll rank him like 136.
Rank him lower.
You know, and the Grizzlies should be projected to, you know, be the 11th seed. You know, we're fighting for the play, and I hope that's the national narrative.
Will they be? You know, are they the Chicago Bulls of the Western Conference?
Because if we're being real, we've seen what we look like as front runners, and our head gets a little too big.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
Yeah. So
man, it's interesting though, because Daniel starts to say he doesn't have that fire in his eye. It's interesting because there's all this, everybody's already talking about how difficult the West is only going to get better, blah, 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 blah.
Of course. It's true.
All of these every podcast I've listened to, these same people that are like not including Ja in their like top 20, blah, 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 don't have Ja ranked personally high. Every one of these people are saying the Grizzlies are going to be back in it next year. They're not blinking an eye. Everybody out there knows the Grizzlies are coming back. They just seem to all be keen to just leave Ja out of that sentence when they're like, they're going to be good because Ja's coming back. They're just saying, yeah, the Grizzlies are going to come back reloaded. They're going to come back reloaded because of Ja Morant. Like, it's getting frustrating, making my hair flip.
Keep in mind, I mean, Ja Morant was out all season, but it's not like previous years where we won the games Ja wasn't there in. I'm like, we lost him. Yeah. We need him.
Yeah.
You can't. Yes. One cannot be good without the other. So it's just, that's how it is, and that's how it's going to be as the team starts spending more money on each of these contracts get bigger and bigger. It's like you just can't afford the luxury of a Tyus Jones anymore to break in case of emergency. Nope. We are all chips in on health of Ja Morant from this point forward.
Yes, and you know, like to his, to his. There's a word. Yeah, I'm losing my words today. To his credit, ninth in the West. Vegas has us ranked 9th in the West. I don't want to play the game where
we're fine in the West.
We're fine in the West.
We're
fine in the West. No, I'm not gonna say that yet. It's to his credit, Kleiman has done an excellent job of having 3 dudes on pretty big deals, and then the GG, the Vince, and the Scottie Pippen Jr. Those are 3 guys that are on basically they're making
no money,
pennies, no money, and those are 3 dudes that are going to be very key in your regular season rotation, I think. And to his credit, that's big for Kleiman, because a lot of these teams they're handing out 3 big money contracts, and they're like, crap, we're in the second apron now. What do we do? I think that to his credit, Kleiman's maneuvered this about as well as he could, as well as he could.
Yeah, and he knows what he's doing. I mean, he's a smart dude. I think he went. He's. We've got an Ivy League front office, so they know what they're doing. They know how to make the money work, and I think that's the reason why at the 9th pick, they probably are happy that it wasn't the first pick in this draft. The 9th pick, you've got some flexibility, and if you take the 9th player in the draft, the salary's not very high. You can make it work. And I also think that's another reason you look at that for for making trades. Like, how many how many cheap contracts are you going to put in? Like, I don't know if there's any way at all that they trade G.G. Jackson. He's making like $150 and a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts, and you're getting that production. You know, listen, what I wouldn't do for $150 and a dozen Krispy Kreme.
I'm going to say, why you got to start my week off like that, man? Sounds great.
So I just those are valuable contracts.
Yeah, I mean, and especially when you look at it's the closer Wednesday gets here with that, the 9th pick is just kind of the players that might be there are vastly more appealing as opposed to the draft where we drafted Zaire Williams and the players that were available at the 9th pick there or the 10th pick, wherever we got Zaire.
Yeah.
You know, like
I'd have to look back at it, but I do remember the ones that I wanted went gone. Like 8 and 9, you know?
Yeah.
They
went right before it. Yep.
Yeah.
I just feel like this draft is so deep full of role players. We don't run the risk of that happening.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I've said that on our show. If you haven't listened to it, the 2 Buck Sports Show, I said that on our show. We played a little true and false where he'd throw out a statement, and I'd say true, false. And I think that's the reason why that. Oh my gosh, I just went totally
role players.
Yeah.
Role players.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's why I said I don't know that I necessarily want to trade up to 2.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like you're going to have your options at 9. You know, I could see us moving up to 5 or 7. You
3's
know,
too high.
And just snagging that guy. But like, are you really going to mortgage? You're going to send away all your a couple first round picks and Marcus Smart, or play your trade machine scenario out for, you know, the only person I would bang my fist on the table for and say, this is who I would take if I were to trade up, would be Reed Shepherd or Klingon. Like, that's the only 2 that I think are worth moving up for. At that point, just let the draft come to you at 9.
Well, and even then, it's like the Reed Shepherd. You might be able to get Dalton Connect if that's how you say it. Dalton Connect at 9. You know, and that dude you ain't a Connect fan.
Listen, I'm not. I can't. He's got too much orange on his jersey. All right.
Okay.
But I'm also kind of against the white dude who doesn't look athletic in the NCAA tournament. Like, it's a different beast when you get to the NBA. Now I know he's a shooter. I know on the Grizz 901, the guest they had on called him like the long Bogdanovich brother. And if that's okay, then I mean there's a role there, but not there. Not at 9 for me. Like, no, there's much more high ceiling guys that I can get on a good contract.
Dalton Connect hate. Wow. You just I think I put him in that inglorious. I call them the inglorious bastards of the league. You know, you got you got the Bogdanoviches, you got Kevin Herter, you got Max Strus, and then you got him. That's why all those dudes that can shoot, the white boys that can shoot from the Europes. I call them who did I forget?
The dude from Boston.
The
one that won a title. Yeah, Peyton Pritchard.
All of them, man. I love those dudes. You put them, you drop them over in Nazi-occupied France, let them take scalps. It'll be great. We're going to take one quick break, and when we come back, we are going to talk about Mondays because they are for lasagna right after this break.
Speaking of getting rid of toxins, Kenny Stubblefield, David Jones.
Wow.
I mean, depending on who you look at it. You know, he may be a toxin to University of Memphis. The University of Memphis might be a toxin to him. In a very dramatic fashion, David Jones decided he will be taking his talents to the NBA. At around 10:55, man, it started feeling a little bleak. You know, I text you. I said, Kenny, is there any hope?
I mean, he kind of the writing's been on the wall, right? Like, I mean, he said it to the Daily Memphians, Drew Hill at the combine. If I get all
any inclination that I can get,
think at me the right way, I'll stay in the game.
You only have a very short window of time. I think that window is very small. I think you can get caught up in just becoming an amateur basketball player, and you can lose that window of opportunity.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
this has turned into unrealistic expectations for teams. Not every team is ready to win a championship. There are steps you got to take to put yourself in position to win it. And I thought that what they had done in Cleveland had become a team that was muddled in nothing. And JB, I thought they created a little bit of a culture. You were able to find a star player. I think it's tough. I go back to what happened with Adrian Griffin in Milwaukee. I mean, you got the second best record in the NBA, and they say, well, we don't know if you're the one to get us over the top. Yeah, but the guy you bring in is only 5-6 games over 500 from that point on. You would hope that realistic expectations start to come back into the fold, other than these unrealistic things that it's going to happen. Winning a championship happens just like that, because it doesn't that way at all.
Tune in to the Night Court podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the Daily Grind. You can catch the Night Court. The Night Court? Yeah, it's just called Night Court. The Night Court. Night Court. The Night Court makes it sound scary. We have Night Court. We had $2 Sports Show. We got Grizz 901. We got Anthony Sain Show. We got No Bluffing. We got a whole mess of shows over at bluffcitymedia.co. And we will have a live draft show this Wednesday for the lottery. I believe it's just lottery, but we're going to have Chip Williams. We're going to have Ryan Matthews. Meadows. Who's Ryan Meadows? I don't know. I know these guys.
I may have messed it up.
I don't know. We're gonna have the whole mess of people. It's gonna be a good time. Should be a pretty interesting draft, all things considered. I also didn't know today was going to turn into the Dalton Connect discourse episode, and I love it because Daniel Greer in the comments said, "Is Dalton Connect a keeper, Luke, and a second coming of Bane?"
No,
I think you think no. I think yes. I might have a whole Dalton Connect episode tomorrow. We're gonna figure that. We're gonna have fun here. But back to our show on Mondays. On our show, we celebrate a little cat named Garfield. He hates Mondays. He loves lasagna, obviously, and so Mondays are for lasagna. We talk about our weekend, our least favorite thing, which will be our Monday, and our lasagna, which is our favorite thing from the weekend. I can go first.
Yeah,
my Monday from the weekend. After a weekend in Bonnaroo where it's like the heat didn't bother me, the heat outside this past weekend, I wanted to jump off a bridge. Like I tried to do yard work and like I was trying to be productive around the house, because I was gone all weekend. And it's the kind of heat where you open that door and you can it's like there's another wall of heat and you're like, you gotta push through it. It's been awful. And I don't wear heat well. I got too much hair. I'm like too pasty. I just don't. I look like a dead man if I'm sweating too bad. I'm just like, hey guys, it's really bad. And so my blood's too thick. It just doesn't go well. I can only take so many clothes off before I have to go to jail. I don't like the heat. And so this heat this past weekend,
Oh, it was bad.
It was bad, dude. And I don't like heat. I don't like sweat. I don't like it. And when you have a beard, this part of your neck that sweats is the worst thing in the world. I don't know. It's like fop sweats for your neck. I hate it. I hate it. My Monday though, or excuse me, my lasagna. I watched the Lord of the Rings extended editions, and they're awesome. It's like 12 hours of content, and I don't even care that I've seen them a million times. They're the greatest movies ever made. Saw them in theaters. I love them. The last one has like 3 endings. I don't get it. It's like, oh, it's over. Oh, it's over. If you say you haven't seen it, I swear to God, I'll just end this show right now. But that was my. You can go. You go. Go ahead. You go ahead. You can go. I can. Your silence speaks volumes, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead. I know you didn't. Your turn.
I've started the first one 1,000 times, and that's all I can say.
Okay. That sound you're hearing at home, folks, it's the sound of my heart shattering into a million pieces.
You want to change your Monday of the week?
Well, this is my Monday for next week. I'm writing it down on a Post-it. You can't see my list.
You remember when we talked last week? You said
that was
never
my
seen
Monday. I sat on it, I festered on it, and then I just thought about it.
Still
all week.
pissed.
Still angry.
So I'll start with my Monday. I tried to go see a movie this weekend. You know, my family, we got 4 kids, my wife, and we're pretty bold. You know, we like to do fun things and try to take the kids, and do not take 4 kids to a movie theater.
What'd you see?
Because I'm telling
What'd
you,
you try to see?
all right, we want to go see If, and this was
Oh,
my pick. Like, I
it
wanted
looks
to see
cute.
it.
It looks really
Yeah.
good.
Like, I love John Krasinski, and I love Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
And one of the characters is voiced by Steve Carell. Like, I don't care if it was made for children or not. I'm watching it. Okay.
Yep. That's 3 for 3 right there. It's 3 for 3.
Except the 2-year-old and 3-month-old did not allow me to watch it, or us to watch it. Oh, it was awful. I'm going to show you a picture of what happened. This is how I got to watch about 15 minutes of this movie. Me and my daughter, because she was just wild. Like, she was fun, but she was just bouncing off the wall.
Oh god.
And my son, the 3-month-old, was just screaming. So
Oh.
of the hallway with popcorn, watching my daughter play with a broom. Look at this.
Look at this.
She got with a popcorn broom.
Oh.
And it entertained her for an hour. Well, I just sat there. Now, I will give it great reviews, because my oldest 2, the 9 and 7-year-old, got to watch it by themselves inside the theaters and loved it.
Heck
So,
yeah.
I guess I'll catch it on DVD one day.
On video on demand.
And the movies are too dang expensive to do
Dude,
that.
I was gonna say, man, you took a family of 4. You took 4 kids to the movies.
Yeah. The tickets were like $60.
Yeah. You should make them pay you back. Make the 3-month and the 2-year-old pay you back.
They're doing chores today. Let me tell you what.
Child labor laws, never heard of them. Never heard of them.
So, my lasagna though, we just had a fun weekend. We had a good weekend. We've traveled so much, like here and there, and it's like, it's not even like big traveling. It's like my mom lives 30 minutes away. Her mom lives an hour away, and they're always wanting us to do stuff because it's summertime and the kids are out of school, and so it's like we're just always just bopping around.
Yep.
And this weekend we were just like, nah. We got like all day Saturday and Sunday just here and just chilled. We were at home long enough that we were like, maybe we'll try the movies. Never.
That's how much time you had. That's
So,
good. What is Daniel? Oh, Daniel saw Inside Out 2?
2. Yeah.
I'm assuming he saw 2. If you saw Inside Out 1, Daniel, that came out in 2016, I think.
Yeah, it's
you're
great.
Late to it is great. I cried. I cried.
That was our mistake. Is like there were 2 choices for us to make, and one was Inside Out 2, and one was If. And I went for If, but the 2-year-old was not. It was not enough cartoons for the 2-year-old to sit still.
Man, 2-year-old? It's a great age, but that is trying to get them to sit still. That's like
you need duct tape.
You need duct tape. I don't know if you remember it was an old animated movie with Steve Carell voicing a squirrel over the hedge. Came out when we were kids.
I did not know. It's been a long time, but
he had crazy crackhead energy, and he drank a cup of coffee, and it like time slowed, and so he was just walking around, and that's how I imagine 2-year-olds. 2-year-olds give off crackhead energy sometimes.
Listen, if you want a show, you just put on the Moana soundtrack and just watch her go. I'm telling you, just
I love that
start
music.
to finish. She was dancing for 45 minutes. The moves from Moana.
What is she available at 7:30s in the morning on Monday through Fridays?
Yeah.
We might just have a live Moana watch along.
Yeah, I'll just set it in front of her, and she'll do the little for hours.
Like, okay, so when the spirit of the ocean attacks at the end, what are your thoughts here? Does she make it to the end, or will I have to just get the music?
Oh no, she'll make it to the end. But if you ask her a question like that, she'll just be like, "You're welcome." So, what you gonna
Yes,
get?
yes, that's you know what, that's gonna do us for today's show. And tune in tomorrow when I might have a 2-year-old on. I don't know, it sounds fantastic. Thank you for tuning in to us. Tune into the show at home. Thank you for hanging out with us in the comments. Rusty, Daniel, everybody, thank you guys. Thank you guys for starting some Dalton Connect discourse. We might keep that going this week. I might just keep it going even after the draft. I love it. I will be back tomorrow. Uncle Buck may be back with me later this week. He will sure be back for his pod on Friday. The draft is Wednesday. Just Bench show's happening right now. Go check it out. And remember, if I leave you with 2 things today, remember to be a little weird and remember to smile. Everyone have a great week. I will see you tomorrow.